Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The story of the Philadelphia Eagles winning Super Bowl 52 started 2 seasons ago, when outcasted Howie Roseman took his job back as general manager from the disaster that was Chip Kelly and hired Andy Reid understudy Doug Peterson as the head coach and gave up a king's ransom to move up in the draft to take Carson Wentz second overall. Now, the story of the New England Patriots losing Super Bowl 52 goes back a little further. After destroying the Colts in the AFC Championship game 45-7, another Patriots scandal would make headlines yet again when Indianapolis sports reporter Bob Kravitz tweeted a story that would famously be known as Deflategate.
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 The so-called Deflategate. NFL sources revealing to ESPN that the Patriots did use underinflated footballs.
Now, most people in the sports world dismissed this early on, especially when other quarterbacks defended Brady.
Legally inflated football and a slightly underinflated football. Do you think you would know the difference?
You know what? Throughout the course of a game, no.
And some saw this as a reach by the Colts organization, who were salty after being blown out in the AFC Championship game.
The Patriots were going to win that football game. They had the Colts number, and they're a better football team. So I don't believe that the conditions of the footballs affected the outcome of that game whatsoever.
In any event, life went on, and the Patriots went on to defeat the Seahawks in Super Bowl 49 due to the most famous interception in Super Bowl history, the one that turned Malcolm Butler into a household name. And we'll talk about this guy a little later. However, unlike Spygate and the many other Patriot scandals, Deflategate would not go away.
And so if you did not go after the Patriots with Deflategate and, the taping of the games and the sidelines, it would look like you're giving Robert Kraft a break.
The commissioner, Roger Goodell, was looking to make a statement. So over a year later, after multiple appeals, Brady was suspended for 4 games. And the Patriots would start the 2016 season with an unknown second rounder, Jimmy Garoppolo.
G-A-R-R.
Analysts were already counting the Patriots out for the 2016 season, predicting them to lose 3 or all of the 4 games without Brady, making it virtually impossible for them to make the playoffs at 0-4. But we all know that didn't happen. And not only did the Patriots go 3-1 in the absence of Brady, they would go 14-2 and win their 5th Super Bowl in the Belichick era, with the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. So the Patriots knew that when the thin 39-year-old Brady was ready to hang it up, they had their future in Garoppolo. The story was perfect. It was another Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana and Steve Young. The Hall of Fame legend passing the torch to the young bright star who would take the reins and continue the dynasty.
And Jimmy Garoppolo, no longer a member of the Patriots. He will now be residing in the Bay Area, traded to the 49ers.
Who is the Patriots' backup quarterback?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
They do not have one right now.
They don't have one?
Because they also traded Jacoby Brissett earlier this season.
Which is why the sports world would be turned on its head when right before the 2017 trade deadline, the Patriots would trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers for a second-round pick.
Man, this doesn't make sense. Why do you trade Jacoby Brissett for essentially nothing? When if you know you might trade Garoppolo, why do you not have, you went from having the best quarterback situation in football, according to Bill Belichick, to one guy and he's a 40-year-old.
Traded Jimmy Garoppolo away and Jacoby Brissett away, won a superstar talent and won a potential starter and got nothing, really nothing in return. I said, folks, put on the brakes, time out. this makes no sense.
It wouldn't be long before a report by ESPN's Seth Wickersham exposed to the world that all may not be what it seems in Titletown.
It boiled over this fall when Belichick heard players asking themselves and each other, do we risk alienating the NFL's most powerful coach or risk alienating the NFL's most powerful quarterback?
I don't know Seth Wickersham, but he has written some monsters in the last 18 months.
Stories like this do not get out unless people are leaving.
Now, they can dress it up all they want to, but all this got out with this article. When have we ever seen an article this in depth about the New England Patriots?
And that it wasn't Garoppolo that Belichick wanted to trade. It was actually Brady. But Patriots owner Bob Kraft was not having it.
Belichick met with the owner Bob Kraft. According to staffers, the meeting ran long. The meeting ended with a clear mandate to Belichick. Trade Garoppolo. Kraft was closer emotionally to Tom Brady and told Belichick, for the first time in your legacy here, you can't trade Tommy. And Belichick was pissed. Belichick, according to Wickersham, was furious. Belichick was demoralized, according to friends.
That he was angry and disillusioned over that decision by the owner.
And Coach Belichick was trying to build for the future, and the owner drew a line in the sand. Says, I'm siding with my son, Tom Brady Kraft, over you, Coach Belichick.
Now, naturally, people thought I was crazy when I first floated the idea that maybe Belichick purposely threw this game. But you have to realize the pettiness that is embedded in the greatness behind all of the sports legends.
Belichick has a history of grudges.
All these coaches, take this the right way, are some kind of crazy. But his type of craziness has to do with control. And also, I believe that he loves to control the narrative.
And part of controlling that narrative was not only leaving the franchise, but leaving it in shambles, as he wanted to make sure that his coordinators, his would-be successors, would find jobs outside of the organization after he's gone.
He's out there recommending his offensive and defensive coordinators for jobs.
And he hasn't done that before.
Why? He's leaving. And when he does, Bill's gone, both coordinators are gone, Garoppolo, Brissett gone, and Bob Kraft is left with a 41-year-old quarterback.
He gave away Jacoby Brissett, number one, to the team that turned in and blew the whistle on Tom Brady, to the Indianapolis Colts. He picked up the phone and called Kyle Shanahan and said, have I got a deal for you? I'll give you Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick. For a second? It's the steal of the century. You gave him away to San Francisco? Well, that sounds like, that is sabotage.
I believe Belichick had that meeting, left with a history of knowing his legacy and holding grudges, and said, forget it, I'm out.
Then, out of nowhere, Alex Guerrero, Brady's trainer, practically a member of the staff, was randomly stripped of all team access.
The Globe reporting Tom Brady's trainer, Alex Guerrero, has had various team privileges stripped.
Took away the guy's trainer's privileges during the season rather than waiting. Brady was playing well, right? The team is playing well. Why upset the apple cart at the end of the season when you're about to go into the playoffs when you didn't have to do that?
This is Tom Brady being put in his place. This is Belichick saying, enough.
How did you react when Bill told you that he was going to do that?
I don't really agree with your question, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So are you saying a report that the access was...
I'm not saying anything. I mean, how do you say that he said anything? You don't know anything about that.
So it's not beyond the realm of consideration that Belichick did not want the Patriots to win this game. Belichick knew that if he's checked out against a team like the Eagles, they would not win. And that's exactly what he did. He said, I'm out. And he said, you, Malcolm Butler, you're out too. Why? Because Tom Brady. That's why.
I built this dynasty, and you're going to choose a 40-year-old quarterback over me.
Get this through your head, you motherfucker, you. You only exist out here because of me. I'm what counts out here, not your f***ing TV show.
So what did Belichick do to sabotage the game? Well, benching Malcolm Butler, the starting corner, who was in 97% of all defensive snaps this season, was enough. These guys go to war together. They fight together. Seeing him cry on the sideline as he finds out literally last second that he won't be playing, I mean, that caused a huge distraction. It took the defense completely out of the game mentally, especially when an inexperienced Eric Rowe was put in his place and continued to give up big play after big play. That was the chess move. Belichick played the only hand he had. He wasn't going to sit Brady or deactivate Gronk. He was going to see to it that if Brady was going to win this game, he was going to do it by himself. And in a game where one defensive play could have made all the difference, you don't think Malcolm Butler couldn't have been that difference maker? Mic'd Up is probably one of my favorite shows. I think it's one of the best creations that NFL Network has ever created. Half of my clips in this video is from Mic'd Up. And one thing I love is the Patriots Mic'd Up, because you really get to see the genius of Belichick. And in every close game, he's pacing down the field, talking to the players, he's motivating them, and he usually does something ingenious at the very end, and the Patriots win. Go back and watch Super Bowl 52 Mic'd Up. Belichick is nowhere to be found. People complain about the Patriots getting all these calls, but what people don't realize, if you watch the Mic'd Ups, Bill Belichick is in the ref's head.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has changed.
To the point where he breaks them down mentally, where now they're second-guessing themselves and they're throwing flags on the other team that probably wouldn't get called in any other situation.
Can you measure this?
We already moved it, Coach.
I don't know. The ball's sitting right there. Just go out and measure it. I want to see if it's 2 inches or a foot or what it is.
I mean, it's pure genius. And there were so many calls that were controversial in this Super Bowl that when I saw the Mic'd Up, I was expecting to see that. I was expecting to see Bill and Gene Sterator's face like, how could you call that a touchdown? How could you call that a catch? Nothing. Tom Brady relies on that. The last thing I want to point out here in this Mic'd Up from Super Bowl 52, I want you to look at this scene right here.
Ready to go, boys.
Now, I want you to look at what Tom Brady does here. At this point, the score is 38-33. There's 2 minutes and 21 seconds left. And this is the point where the Patriots do what they do. This is what they love. He has ample time to go down there, score a touchdown, and win the game. Now he's walking down his sideline to rally up his troops. And suddenly he averts his eyes, puts his head down, and walk away. Now the camera doesn't show this, but he's looking at Bill Belichick, and it drains him of his energy. He starts to get hyped up. He looks off screen, and the tension between him and Belichick is so thick that not only does he avert his eyes, put his head down, and walk away, but he uses Gronk as a buffer. The tension is so thick that he doesn't even want to walk in front of this man. And in the same timeout, as they're getting ready to take the field, he's looking at the tablet by himself. By himself. They're down by 5 points. There's 2 minutes left. This is when they're supposed to be huddling, game planning, figuring out how they're going to come up with some amazing scheme to trick the defense. And Brady was out there fighting for his life by himself with 2 coordinators who were befuddled that they suddenly had to coach the game alone, and a defense who were taken out of the game mentally before the first snap even started. And this was perfectly orchestrated by Belichick. And when you look at the post-game press conference, Brady knows it. Now, he would never call Belichick out, but in his eyes. And they've lost before. He's been there. Hell, the Giants spoiled the perfect season. But in this post-game conference, he looks crushed. He looks betrayed. He looks defeated. And that's what Belichick wanted. I made you. I can destroy you. Don't you ever question me again. Now, I told everyone that the only way the Eagles would win this game is if Doug Peterson outcoaches Bill Belichick. And he did, because Belichick didn't coach. Not only did he not coach, but he took his best defensive playmaker out of the game. Whenever the Patriots are evenly matched on both sides of the ball, whenever it's a close, tight back-and-forth game, 90% of the time, the Patriots win because of Bill Belichick's coaching. We saw the Patriots go 3-1 without Brady in 2016. We saw the Patriots go an entire season without Tom Brady and go 11-5. We don't know what a Patriots season without Bill Belichick looks like, but we will soon find out. Josh McDaniels, at some point, will be the head coach of the Patriots, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens this year. Tom Brady will eventually retire, and while Jimmy Garoppolo is taking the 49ers back to the playoffs and back to glory, the New England Patriots will be the Cleveland Browns. They will be terrible for years to come, and Belichick will be somewhere smiling after every 2-14 and 3-13 season. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, well, you might find